I think we have to acknowledge that we have a tax system which disproportionately taxes income rather than wealth, and more of GDP has been generated by wealth over the last 20 to 30 years. That's something we need to take more into account. Secondly, assets are quite tricky to work out. And I think it's a longer term project on the actual assets. So it's very popular. We know 2% tax, wealth tax on assets over 10 million. There's like 60, 70% of the population that thinks it's a good idea. But working out what assets are and what people have can take quite a long time. And I don't think that's something that the Chancellor has. So what we can look at... Do you think
it's not very workable?
Well, I think it is, but it's going to take time to work that out. And people will try to hide things and so on and so forth. But I think it's on income from wealth where we can get the immediate gain. So that's things like pension tax relief. It's very generous for those who have high pensions. We can begin to taper that, so those with smaller pensions pay less, but we can begin to raise billions from that. Equalising capital gains tax with income tax will also raise billions. So there are ways that we can do this in a quite short order, which would mean that we could raise money, we could use wealth to generate money for the economy. What I would say, though, is I'm going to be quite controversial and say that wealth taxes alone aren't going to sort the problems that we have in the British state. It's going to require an overhaul of the tax system, a fundamental overhaul of the tax system. We have a Byzantine tax system. And I think also we need to have a conversation about income tax. That's something I know we pledged in our manifesto not to raise. But in this country, take-home tax for a large swathe of people is higher than in many of the G20 countries. But here's the kind of...
Well, hang on, can we just bring...
I've just got a final point. I would say she made a really important point, the guest there, which was people in Switzerland can see what they're getting for their high taxes. And I don't think, whilst we're handing out billions to corporations who are siphoning that money off to run our public services, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.